Sridhar is joining us right now from Mumbai. Dilip, thanks very much. Good morning. Good to have you here. Are you surprised with the market's reaction after the election victory for the sweep, actually, election sweep, the Jhadu sweep that we've seen in Delhi?
I think you're right. In a sense, like the victory possibly, as the exit poll suggested, was predicted. But the margin of victory has really astonished everybody. So having said that, very frankly, I thought that maybe markets would sulk or remain muted for maybe a day or two. But my own sense was and is that I think markets will forget about this after a day or two, and probably it will be the pre-budget which will start coming into play. And now all kinds of extrapolations and all kinds of predictions will start coming out, in the sense that BJP has to take some action. There will be some big announcements. There will be some big orders which will be coming the industry way. So I think all that will keep the markets on its feet in terms of being buoyant and in
Dilip,
terms of...
What do you mean, some big announcement? What big... I couldn't quite get that. You said big announcement.
No, what I mean is that the BJP party will start acting, will be the expectations from the people, that in terms of that big announcements for the economy, big announcements which probably could have come even at the time of the budget, or possibly could come a little early. I don't know whether they will come. All what I'm trying to say is those kind of expectations will keep markets on its feet in terms of remaining optimistic on the markets. So, typically a pre-budget rally probably is what I really expect will happen. Now, whether they will actually come out with big things and on the day of the budget, whether it will be a letdown or it will be a big thumbs up, we don't know. But I think that expectations, at least till the budget, will keep the markets high, and I see a good pre-budget rally maybe happening shortly, at least a run up to the budget. So all what I'm trying to tell is the expectations now will get up in a much more bigger way. And
whether this election defeat in Delhi for the will mean that the BJP, instead of actually pursuing reforms, will start to become a little more, I hate to use the word, populist. It'll try and change course. What you are suggesting is exactly the opposite. You are saying expectation is in the market is that they will redouble their efforts in terms of reforms and things like that. Is that what you're saying, Dilip? Just to clarify.
So Prashant, I think I would not like to use the word reforms or populist measures over here. I think what needs to be done at the moment is some ground action by the party after being in power for about 9 months. Which is what will be expected from this particular government, because up till now, whatever they have done, they have been moving possibly in a very right direction, but they are all kind of an enabling provisions. They have been trying to take a lot of steps, but they are all kind of an enabling provision. We need something to kickstart this economy. We need some big thing which will push the economy and set the ball rolling in terms of the growth or revive the growth. So which is what is expected. So my sense is that the steps will be towards that direction of taking steps which will result in a visible perception of growth, and which is what I am expecting from the market perspective, and which is what is making me feel a little more optimistic and buoyant on the market, at least till I run up to the budget. And I'm sure even post budget, after the announcement, it will still continue to be good. But that a lot depends upon whether they finally deliver or not and meet the expectations.
Yeah. So, what kind of changes do you expect? Changes in expectations from the budget, Dilip?
Well, I think, as what I said, that there are certain things which can really revive the
in terms of
growth.
specifics.
One is pump priming the economy.
Okay, you think
So
the government will do that?
The economy, I think.
Yeah.
Which is what my expectation is. A little out of box, that some kind of pump priming,
Not that out of box. It was out of box 6 months back. Now it's largely, I wouldn't say mainstream, but it's getting there. that pump priming is required. That view is now almost mainstream. It's getting mainstream. Go on, Dilip.
But the trade-off always is the worry that the fiscal deficit, how that is going to be met. So I think that remains a challenge, but I think, in my opinion, they should probably overcome that, the ghost of that, and try to pump prime the economy. Second, of course, I think there is a construction sector, there is an infrastructure sector which can bring about a good multiplier impact in the economy. And which is where I think they have been pretty restrained so far as what I can see, though they're taking the steps in the right directions. So I think some few big ticket orders to the industry where the work can start and where the actual ground action can start, which can have a good multiplier, is what impact on the economy, is what I'm expecting, and which possibly can lead this particular economy out of this present stagnant phase.
Got that. Earnings have been pretty bad, right, across the board. Dilip, would you agree with me?
Sorry, come again, what is bad?
Third quarter earnings so far across the board, broad base, has been pretty bad.
Absolutely, Prashant. I think there is, without any doubt, bearing a very few microscopic exceptions, results mostly have been a letdown, or at best they have just barely met the expectations. They're not surprised, and there's nothing to indicate on the ground that things probably may have bottomed out and we are still in that flatterer U base. There is no uptick which has been seen so far in any visible way, especially from any of these results. Maybe Cummins was one of the exceptions which really spoke very positively about the green shoots, but rest, I think they're still awaiting that economy to take an uptick or upturn, but I don't think that has really happened. But results, of course, have been hugely disappointing, especially the banks, where the stressed assets probably are still coming out in a big way, and that possibly can continue for 1 or 2 more quarters.
Yeah, got it. Anything actionable according to you, Dilip, right now? Anything you're recommending to your clients one way or the other, based on the results or otherwise?
Well, I think taking the results and taking the expected budget and all those, I think stocks like Larsen & Toubro looks pretty good. I would still go for some of the leading PSU names like BHEL, or maybe in the banking space something like an SBI, which I will stick to that. I think something like in the housing finance space is something they all run up quite a bit, but I think that's another space which will continue to attract attention. I think though pharma companies are still doing pretty well, I think pharmas will continue to log in pretty well in terms of the overall stock prices, because most of them are with really reasonably good management. I think they are clocking very good growth. So I think pharma names also still continues to be good, whether it is Lupin, whether it is Sun Pharma, or whether it is say even slightly something like even Ipca from the current levels. Maybe there could be some problem. Glenmark looks pretty good. Larsen also looks pretty interesting even from the current levels, having corrected by almost 7 to 8% in the last 1 day.
You'd buy Larsen here. You know, we just spoke with an analyst on Larsen, and he said that you'd be a buyer at about 1400 or so. It makes sense there, not here.
Sure, I think that's what market is all about. Some are buyers, some are sellers, but I remain pretty optimistic on Larsen & Toubro. I think the results probably were not up to the expectations. That goes without saying. But I think this is a company where the order inflow has been so good in spite and despite all the economic conditions that we are in at the moment. And I think going forward, it is the order inflow which will really drive the growth for this particular company. And I think, of course, in terms of the execution has been pretty slow. But in the next 3 or 4 quarters, we expect even the execution to pick up. So that's why we like Larsen.
Dilip, thanks very much for that. Good talking to you. Appreciate your time here as always on Profit.